Off the Carolina coast stands the Frying Pan Tower, and it needs our help, over 100 feet up in the air. This decommissioned Coast Guard station is now an environmental research facility, and it's falling apart. It'll be all hands on deck as we struggle to patch up this platform.
Whoa, how was the ride, boss?
Way out here in the graveyard of the Atlantic,
Haley!
hanging off ropes over shark-infested waters. Back on land, this aging stadium in Charlotte needs to gear up for hockey season. We'll head out onto the roof and see if the anchor system has some life left in it. Then, we'll head up 100 feet to make sure this scoreboard is solid.
We're about to find out.
If it fails, game over. I'm Trask Bradbury. How you doing? My full-time business is heights, and my daily office looks a little different than most. I travel the world to tackle jobs no one else can reach, but we can by rope.
The physics of it can really put someone who's new to this in a real pickle.
Get out of here, get out of here! Run, run, run!
We're at the end of the rope!
32 miles off the coast of North Carolina stands the Frying Pan Tower. Erected in 1964 to warn mariners away from the deadly shoals. This decommissioned Coast Guard station was built to only last 50 years.
Hey, come on.
But it's got a new lease on life and keeps going. Just barely.
Yeah, like this.
This facility is now run by a nonprofit that does environmental research, and they want to keep this unique structure above water. But they need our help, roping up and getting down to hard-to-reach spots on this decaying platform. We're always up for a challenge, but first, we need to figure out how we're going to get to the frying pan. We were hoping to boat over with all our heavy equipment, but there's a high swell warning near the tower. It's time for Plan B. We'll have to take a helicopter instead. Good to see that heli coming back. We always bring extra gear, but these small copters have some serious weight limits, so we'll have to pare down and bring the bare minimum.
All right, let's trim some fat.
These ropes are key for our work, but they're pretty heavy.
Okay.
Roughly 50 pounds per 600 feet. So we're cutting rope to drop some weight.
We gotta cut some gear. Nope. So three ASAPs.
If the helicopter takes off overloaded, we might not make it to the job site.
4.
I'm heading over with my crew, Matt and Haley. Haley's family runs a small airport, but she prefers swinging on ropes to being crammed in a helicopter.
I have a horrible case of motion sickness. They all have their pilot's licenses, and I'm the only one that does not.
But this is our only option today. Hang on tight. Here goes nothing.
Tower 6 times.
We take off with our pilot, Willis.
Check.
Okay, let's do this. We have to leave behind some gear, but Willis is going to grab it for us on his next flight over.
Here we go. Here we go.
Fighting some heavy winds, we barely clear the tree line, heading out past Cape Fear and into open water.
Right turn out southeast, Cape Fear. Mostly loud.
It's a 20-minute ride over to the frying pan. I'm anxious to get eyes on the tower and see what we're dealing with.
Just see the tower straight ahead, little dot right on the horizon. Yeah, the swells are looking bigger now.
Even from up here, you can see this platform needs serious work. One of the key support trusses is totally gone.
Well, missing a member down there.
Richard runs the nonprofit that oversees this facility. He bought the frying pan in 2010 at a government surplus auction, realizing a once-in-a-lifetime dream.
I bought my childhood treehouse, and I've been playing in it ever since.
He got it for virtually nothing, but it was hardly a bargain.
It's just a hole in the ocean you pour money into.
Frying Pan Tower, anybody home? Guess the aliens already got him.
He's definitely a character. I can tell that already.
Hello, do you hear me? Yeah, let me get a large fry and a diet cheerwine slushie.
That's one small platform. Good thing Willis knows what he's doing.
Big enough to land a helicopter on. Barely. You're a surgeon with this thing, man. I'm doing my best.
Time to get out of this bird and see what we're dealing with. Stuck out here, 32 miles from shore. Entering this place feels like stepping back in time.
We don't want that.
Starting in the 1960s, the Coast Guard lived here, warning ships away from the deadly shoals. But once GPS arrived, the tower became obsolete. That's when Richard bought it, hoping to turn it into an environmental research facility.
And
He set up an underwater camera at the base of the tower.
there. And barnacles are starting to go on here, so I need to scuba down and take a razor blade and scrapey behind them.
Mariners had to worry about running aground, but we have to keep an eye out for other things.
Oh! Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Every day is Shark Week out here. Soon after buying the facility, Richard realized he'd need lots of help to keep the platform above water.
There's no operating manual on how to restore a 50-plus-year-old thing out in the middle of the saltwater.
Volunteers have been coming ever since, pitching in to try and restore the frying pan to its former glory.
And I think the secret to the success, honestly, is just the masses of people that can go, I can only help a little, but this is what I can do.
Working off ropes from heights is our unique skill, and he'll be putting us to good use.
We can do that.
Watch your step on this area. It's actually pretty steep, but last time I checked it, none of the parts had fallen out, so keep your hands on everything.
Sound is a pound, right?
There's no ignoring the fact that this structure is on its last legs, as Richard is the first to admit.
That's just the nature of an old place out in the ocean. It's either being repaired or falling apart.
It is what it is, though, right?
It'd be exciting.
Holy cow, I'm getting a good visual of some of these pieces that are just completely missing.
Russ never sleeps. Welcome to my nightmare.
You really need to get out of
The
here.
to-do list on this rust bucket is almost limitless, so we'll follow Richard's lead.
Where are there some locations that you would like us to play around on?
Actually, I got something I really would like you guys to do that I don't feel secure in doing, and I feel...
First job, dismantle this outer platform and move the yellow fiberglass grates back to the main deck. If these fall into the ocean, they'll disturb the fragile ecosystem below.
Those are fiberglass. We don't want to throw them in the ocean, but we do want to take them off of there and take that metal and either get it up or drop it in the ocean.
Gotcha.
Once the fiberglass is off, we can just toss the steel brackets into the drink, because rust actually fertilizes the seabed.
One guy was like, why are you putting steel in the ocean? I'm like, well, that increases the iron, which the ocean needs. It's not a bad thing.
Second job, rope up and lower down to check out this support leg. It's one of the 4 that holds up this entire structure. People rely on this when they arrive on the tower by boat.
Off the boat, up that tower, and up to here.
These legs are covered in surface rust, so Richard wants us to do some sounding, hitting the steel with a hammer to get a better read on how badly they're decayed.
We need to do a little work on them while they can still hold us up.
If we manage to knock off these jobs and avoid swimming with the sharks, Richard's got a couple more projects for us to do up
What's going
top.
on up there, too?
Let's go do that.
36 feet up.
Yeah, let's go do that.
I wonder what he's got in store for us next.
So come take a look. All right. We've welded in brand new I-beams across here to basically beef it all up. But you see the I-beams, they're actually completely rotted out across here. I would not trust my worst enemy to that one. So as
Resting on the rotted out I-beams are all these heavy grates, each weighing 800 pounds. This whole catwalk could collapse at any moment.
7 feet.
For our third job, we'll be welding in new supports. It'll be a challenge.
which is not hard at all, as long as you don't mind hanging, 65 feet above the water in a chair underneath the edge of it.
Right.
And welding and lifting heavy steel. And not dropping any tools or any people.
Sketch City. Our final job is all the way up near the lighthouse beacon.
All right, come on up.
There's a small wind turbine mounted on the top that Richard wants us to take down. He's worried it might hit the deck when the next major storm rolls through. He's been putting off this job because if done improperly, it could be deadly.
And to get to them, you have to get on a ladder, lean it up against there, and it's on the edge at 135 feet up. And it's just, even for someone that's safely roped off, you really don't want to do that 15-foot swing drop.
Right.
There's lots to do, and we've only got a couple of days. but we'll figure it out somehow.
There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, so now that we're here, I mean, we're just gonna be organically moving around and finding out the best solution for the best, safest project.
Yeah, rule number one, stay alive.
Right? It's good to go home the way you came to work.
I bring Matt and Haley down to get additional eyes on this and start figuring out a game plan.
Awesome.
Slow and steady.
So they're just putting deck on top of rotten deck.
We can't trust anything.
It's time to rope up and take the plunge.
All right,
Here goes nothing.
let's go for it.
Off the coast of North Carolina is the Frying Pan Tower. This decommissioned former Coast Guard station was erected in the 1960s and built to only last 50 years. A nonprofit that does environmental research runs this facility.
Not much noise on the radios. Cam is working okay. All is quiet in the tower.
That's sketch. Oh, look, there's safety.
They've brought us over to do some critical work to help keep this platform above water.
It's a little circumspect coming down these stairs, isn't it?
Matt and Haley are with me on this job. It's a good thing they've got lots of experience working on ropes, because this is a super challenging location.
Now I'm afraid I'm gonna fall through the floor.
Geared up, we head down to the belly of the beast.
And we're walking, and we're walking.
Holding it on.
Everything's rusted out.
Yeah.
Each step could be your last.
By far, this is the diciest place I've ever worked.
We sort out our gear and get ready to take the plunge.
Perfect example of pack rust right here.
These ropes have a sheathing made of a material used in body armor, crucial with all these rusted edges here. Our first job, dismantle this shaky platform. We need to take off and salvage this yellow fiberglass decking. If this fell into the drink, it would be harmful to the fish below. I'm rigging things up so Matt can go out.
Now you're where?
I'm attaching clamps on the I-beams to establish an anchor point.
This place is kind of scary.
I-beams are usually rock solid, but not here.
And if you see my two beam clamps separated the way you do, it's for a reason. There's a section on the flange, the bottom flange, where it's been chipped like a chipped tooth. And I don't want my beam clamps to come off of that.
All these sharp, rusty edges could cut our ropes, so we have to keep our heads on a swivel out here.
Just make sure that we keep our ropes away from this. We'll send tools to you when you get into position.
Slow and smooth.
Watch your eyes.
Awesome. That's called warm and fuzzy right there.
Matt's ex-military, and he's always on high alert.
This is perfect, and you're not getting shot at. Things don't blow up either. That's also a bonus.
Careful, Matt.
Okay.
Feels pretty solid?
Yeah. You know, nice solid I-beam here. It's down there, that kind of sucks. So we'll see.
This is the environment where you really have to force yourself to go slower, because if this were like a new structure and it's just all steel, everyone's just like la-di-da, moving fast, moving fast. But every few feet you move, you're finding something a little bit weird and fishy, and it's much more stressful in that environment.
The fiberglass grates are held in place by a number of metal clips that Matt needs to remove.
All right, we're going in.
Don't worry, Matt. There's only a couple sharks circling right now down there.
Wait, don't make me look. Second insertion done.
Nice. Now we're cooking with gas.
Feeling good, looking good.
Cool. Yeah, you're doing fine.
Once the grates are loose, we'll fish them back to the deck.
All right, she's completely free now. Ready for a pull. Hold.
Second.
Let her go.
Coming in.
Yeehaw! I caught fiberglass. call me some fiberglass.
Okay. Beautiful.
You gonna start to work on that one?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna re-rig our tagline.
Matt continues to work his way around the platform.
All right, guys, first panel free, stand by for extraction.
She's on belay.
Coming in.
Coming in hot.
That's awesome.
All right, buddy, let her rip.
Coming in.
Yep.
He's making great progress, but each piece of decking he removes makes the platform smaller and shakier. Richard, the main guy at the tower, comes down to check our progress.
Yeah, it's a little wiggly in it. I'm gonna get out of your way. Okay.
Jesus.
Do not die. That's my rule.
That's kind of our
Rules to
mission
live
in
by.
life, bud. I like that.
Thou shalt not die today.
Words to live by. It's every rope tech's motto, especially when working on a shaky platform over shark-infested waters.
And I'm thinking that's like they transfer water from one thing to the other. With
All right.
One of the last pieces of decking slips from under Matt's feet.
That one's free.
That was Heart Attack City right there.
Ah,
How's your heart rate?
slightly elevated.
And that's why we're on ropes, folks.
You okay?
That was a ride, boss.
Shoot.
Matt takes off the final piece of fiberglass. It's time to get him off this death trap.
Come on back, bud.
Coming in.
Come on back and
Coming in. Coming in hot.
go get a beer. That was wild, dude.
Now I'm gonna head out and get rid of the steel brackets that were barely holding up the fiberglass grates.
This thing's going in the drink.
Throwing rusted steel into the ocean helps fertilize the seabed. Locked and loaded.
Done. Next question. Good thing I stretched this morning.
But there's no time to rest just yet. We've got one more job to do down here, and the sun's starting to fall. We'll be sounding the legs that hold up the entire platform. Hammering them and listening for weak spots will give us a good sense of how badly they're decayed. We'll be sending Haley out for this one. But first, we need to figure out a way to do it safely.
So this is basically edge protection. You open these things up and you lay your ropes in them, and then you close it up because our ropes come into contact with things like this, little razor blades. Basically, this whole platform is a rope-eating machine, right? Everything here wants to cut our life safety ropes.
I'm rigging up a winch for Haley to descend from.
You're gonna descend this like it's a fixed line, and then when you're ready to come up, we're hauling you up.
Okay. Right on.
I do a quick buddy check,
Right? This is it?
Correct.
Okay.
and Haley looks solid. We're ready to launch. Hang on to your helmets. It's go time. We're out here on the Frying Pan Tower off the coast of North Carolina. This former Coast Guard station has seen better days, and we're here to help keep the structure above water. Richard, who runs the nonprofit that keeps this facility alive, knows it's rusting out.
Yeah, it's just kind of flaking apart and falling apart all over the place. Yeah, like this.
Super sketchy. He's got a long-term plan to restore the tower.
We've just got so many things going on, so many different projects.
But today, his primary concern is the legs that rest on the seabed. If there's only surface rust on them, they should be able to support the frying pan for years. But if they're rotted out, the whole structure could collapse.
But everything on this frying pan is suspect.
Haley's about to head down with a hammer and do some sounding on one of the legs. If this one's solid, the other three should be good too.
So we're basically just sounding it and seeing if we punch through any bad steel, and we're basically inspecting the integrity of it.
Lots of this structure is beyond repair. Hopefully the main support legs are solid.
There it goes.
We're running out of daylight, so we need to move fast. You got this.
Oh, this is awesome.
While Haley enjoys the ride, Matt and I keep a close eye on her ropes. You can never have too much edge protection in a place like this with all these sharp, rusted out spots.
Because our ropes come into contact with things like this, little razor blades. Basically, this whole platform is a rope-eating machine. It's an added protection. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy, and more importantly, it makes the person on the rope feel warm and fuzzy.
Slow and steady. She's made it down safely, and now the real work begins. She's hitting the steel with a hammer. Usually, we listen for hollow spots indicating decay. This place is well beyond that point. If the hammer doesn't break through the pipe, that's a good sign.
That could be way worse.
She's working just a few feet above the water. We spot what looks like a shark fin. Is that a fin?
Haley.
Haley,
Oh my gosh.
we're gonna winch you up so you can work in different positions. Copy?
Happy.
Gotta get her up away from the water.
Little more.
Looking good. Hold.
Never a dull moment. Despite all the surface rust, these legs sound pretty solid.
Ooh, it sounds like a church bell.
Yeah, it does.
That's music to my ears.
We'll just do one more there and bring you up.
Happy. Good Lord, look at that moon.
She's done sounding. Now Haley takes a moment to enjoy the view.
It's gorgeous.
And the sunset over your shoulder?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. We'll bring you up.
Now it's time to winch her up and bring her home.
Ride him, cowgirl. All right, good. Jump on over. Nice work.
All right, Matt, I'm off. I got the fun part. That was so much fun.
We just have to de-rig. And finally, we have a chance to enjoy the moment.
I've never been suspended over water like the ocean.
Yeah. It's exhilarating in a very respectful fear kind of way.
Yes.
Just another day at the office.
Beautiful sunset. We survived today, but tomorrow, that's another challenge. It's our last day here, and we have 2 more jobs to do, so it'll be all hands on deck.
Rock and roll.
Yeehaw!
This time, it's my turn to get out on ropes. There's a catwalk around the entire perimeter of this structure, and it's rotting out.
That one's not even hanging on right there.
We'll be adding new I-beams to beef this up.
Get them up in place, weld them in.
Okay.
Go on to the next one. Keep working our way around.
Giving me a chance to show off my welding skills.
So people can actually walk on it. More importantly, since we've been walking on it, they can walk on it and feel good about walking on it.
I'm rigging things up off the deck here, along with Haley. We'll be dropping ropes down over the side to Matt, so I can get under the catwalk and start welding.
I'm fine with that.
That'll work.
We're adding edge protection because all of these rusty I-beams could cut our lines.
I'm gonna need one more Edge Pro.
Yeah, for this one and that one.
There we go.
I'm gearing up with Matt while Haley keeps an eye on us.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Clothes all ready.
And we're just rotating.
Everything's set. Now we just have to lower this platform into place so I can work from it.
Yeah, this thing is dicey at best. Okay, all ropes are rigged.
Here for your safety, bro.
Cowboy up time.
Yeah, I'm on.
Good job. Clear.
All right, I'm committed.
Hey, Trask.
Sledge is mine.
For the weld to take, I'll need to make sure this surface is free of rust.
Yeah, that's your cleanest surface.
Good luck with that.
I'll take the 2 welding jackets and the helmet. Put on my old silk jacket, the kind with the leather collar.
Richard's cutting the I-beam to size so I can tack weld it into place.
54.5.
All right. 75 feet up. Nothing between me and the sharks below. We managed to get a number of I-beams in place, hammering them in, one after another. And another, and another, and another. And now I tack them in as I do my little turn on the catwalk.
All right, you ready to make some fire? Everything's hot.
Burn, baby, burn.
Make it stick.
Make it stick, that's what I like.
That'll work right here.
It's a lot more solid than when we started, that's for sure.
Like a boss.
All right, coming up. Go big or go home, right?
Now we just have to regroup and tackle our final job, all the way up on the top of the lighthouse.
Hey, Matt, you feeling that wind?
Time's running out, and we need to figure out how to get this wind turbine down.
Wind's picking up. Storm's moving in.
If this comes loose and goes flying, it could take someone out.
Haley!
We only have a couple more hours on the frying pan tower, and we've got one more job to complete. We have to remove a shaky wind turbine, then lower it to the helideck.
Is our anchor secure?
Yeah.
All right, coming up.
Here we go. Hurricanes sometimes rip through here. One of the turbines looks a little wobbly and might hit the deck when the next major storm rolls through. So Richard, the main guy in the tower, wants us to take it down. If it falls, it could be deadly.
I don't know if it'd kill you, but if the handrail landed on you, it would.
Matt and I are taking care of this up top, and Haley's down on the deck.
Stand up.
We snip, snip, snip. Take this hardware off and lean it back, tie it off, and lower it over the rail down to the deck.
It all seems pretty straightforward, but we need to be on point up here.
You're hanging over 130 feet of nothing but just water.
We're fully exposed to the elements.
Detaching this isn't a problem, but we'll need to be careful when lowering. If a squall blows in, the turbine could go flying and take someone out.
Wind's picking up. Storm's moving in. Okay, I gotta clear the tail fin. All right, tail clear. Lowering.
Send it.
Here we go, slow and steady. We lock off the blade and lower the turbine all the way down to the deck for Haley to grab.
Deck is clear.
Clear. Okay.
Watch that blade.
Okay, here we go.
Mine.
Touchdown! Mission accomplished. Our work here is done.
This is one of the coolest environments, most unique structures I've ever been on. It's pretty cool being out here, I gotta tell you.
We've got a bit of time to kill before the helicopter swoops in to take us back to shore. So I take a moment to knock something off my bucket list.
Sand traps on either side and water hazard everywhere.
Driving some biodegradable golf balls into the ocean.
Oh, my God!
Oops.
Next bad idea, on 3.
That's why I'm a rope tech and not a golfer.
Take 2.
Let's try that again.
Awesome, look at that. Look at you. You've got it so.
Feeding the fish. We've done our bit to help Richard keep the dream alive and ensure the frying pan remains above water. We load up and say our goodbyes.
I get to meet fascinating people all the time. I'm very happy.
Come on, let's get out of here. See you later, Richard. Over and out. Off the frying pan and back on solid ground, heading inland to Charlotte, North Carolina. Here we go. We'll be doing some inspection work on an entertainment complex.
Exciting.
We got the band back together, Matt and Haley.
Today, there's actually gonna be a hockey practice. And then they also have concerts there. So it's a pretty multi-used facility. Should be a good day. When this building was constructed in the 1950s, it was an engineering marvel.
the largest freestanding dome in the world with an iconic tin roof, 332 feet in diameter.
Let's do it.
We've got 2 scopes of work here on this one-day job.
I've got some radios with us, so we'll send one person up at a time.
First, we'll be climbing onto the dome to inspect their anchor system. When maintenance needs to be done on the roof, workers clip into this and assume these things are sound. So we're gonna check this out to make sure it's still safe.
There's a lifeline right there.
Then, we'll head up into the rafters and check out their scoreboard to make sure all the connection points are solid. You can never be too safe with these things.
Wait for it, Trask.
If it crashes down, it's lights out. The season is about to start for the hockey team here, so we're gonna check out this stadium and make sure everything's up to spec.
Hey, Steve.
Come on in.
We're met by Steve, the operations manager. He's worked here for years and is proud of this historic building.
It's pretty much all original.
That's impressive.
She's yours. Do what you want with her.
Okay.
He's also a huge fan of the hockey team that plays here.
And you guys are still the reigning champs, huh?
Yes, still the reigning champs. Hopefully again this year.
Our team has its own job to do, so we march up to the top tier of the stadium and establish base camp near the hatch to the roof.
So they didn't give you much access to the roof in 1955.
No.
While Steve opens the hatch, we harness up. Haley and Matt do lots of rope work in stadiums, so they're excited to get their hands on this historic structure.
I'm used to being up in the rafters and in the beam, catwalks, and so it's gonna be neat to inspect an old building like this.
There's also a hockey practice happening on this job site, a rare treat for Matt.
Not a lot of hockey in Alabama.
Now we're pushing the limits.
I head out onto the roof and immediately notice the first problem with this safety system.
It's a braided hemp rope, and it's old.
We'll be using this frayed rope to get up to the crown of the dome. Hopefully it's got a bit of life left in it. Otherwise, we'll be booking a one-way ticket all the way down. We're here in Charlotte, North Carolina, about to inspect this historic stadium. This was once the largest freestanding dome in the world, and we're heading all the way up to check out this rooftop anchor system. In the US, 800 workers a year die falling from heights, so anchors like these are lifesavers. I head out on the roof and immediately notice the first problem.
It's a braided hemp rope, and it's old.
This access rope is hardly ideal, but it still has a bit of life left in it. We'll be able to use it to make our way up to the crown of the dome.
Let's move. It's the old mountaineering style out there. Climb heists and fix ropes. Much better.
At the crown of the dome is the anchor system that the rope clips into. Workers assume these things are solid and literally trust them with their lives. So we need to give this a proper once-over.
Okay, Red Rover. Send Haley on over.
I call my team to join me up here, so we can all get eyes on this life-saving anchor.
Matt, see you on the top side.
It sure is hot out here. 100 degrees and no shade.
It's like a cat on a hot tin roof.
It's exactly what it's like. I was wondering what the anchorage thing was up here. It's an important thing to keep track of.
Red Rover, send Matthew on over. Check this thing out.
Copy that. Heading your way, over.
Pretty interesting setup up here.
What up?
We survived that one.
This is the thing I love to do to ropes that are like that. Look up inside there.
Yeah.
It's pretty dirty, but I mean, it doesn't look like it's damaged.
Steve's happy we're the ones checking this out.
That's not for everybody.
So like all the water would get in here and stay right in there then.
Yeah.
Considering the age of this roof, everything looks good.
For the age, yeah, because it was, what, 50s was when it was built?
This minor rust should be cleaned up and the rope swapped out, but it's generally solid. Mission accomplished. Now we just have to get off this dome and back inside so we can tackle another job.
Well, that's about all we can do here.
Sometimes the fastest way off is to just slide, all the way down from the crown to the hatch.
They have quite the profession. I don't think I could do that.
On a dome that's 332 feet in diameter, It's quite the ride. Slip sliding away.
Oh, buddy.
Rock and roll. I debriefed Steve on what we saw out there and suggest he replace the rope.
Obviously, the rope's been out in the weather for a while, but I mean, it's a pretty solid anchor. And it's kind of nice that they put 4 rings so they can go in 4 different directions. They might get a better shelf life out of a synthetic rope.
Okay.
On to our second job, heading around the catwalk, then climbing all the way up into the apex of the dome, 112 feet off the ice.
Oh, yeah.
You have a 360 catwalk all the way around the building, goes all the way up to the ceiling. And that's actually where all the scoreboard equipment is.
Okay. You know, we can go lay eyes on all those connections.
Okay.
See what shape everything is in.
We'll be inspecting the connection points that hold up this massive scoreboard. If these fail, lights out. This worst-case scenario has happened in Charlotte before, at another arena. On the eve of that Coliseum's grand opening, the 40,000-pound scoreboard crashed to the floor. Miraculously, no one was hurt.
There is a lot of stuff up there, so
we just need to keep our eyes open.
Yeah, just be careful.
Bag is yours.
We clip our haul bags and lift them up top, establishing base camp.
A few of my guys that I work with don't like heights.
Good thing heights don't bother us. It's up here that we feel most alive. Climbing up, rock and roll.
That's a treat. It's definitely like going to the dance.
We get eyes on these connections and suss out a plan. Moving our gear into place to start rigging. We'll be using these adjustable clamps to lock onto the I-beam, so Haley can slide out to where she needs to go.
Should be all groovy.
We're counting on these to work.
I'm good.
Because she'll be hanging out there, 100 feet above the ice.
I'm hoping those things will clear that beam in the middle there.
We're about to find out.
Just want to be careful of that.
If these fail, there's nowhere to go but down. At this historic stadium, we're inspecting the connection points that hold up the massive scoreboard. If these fail, game over. We've got Haley out on rope. She's an old pro at stadium work and makes the hardest moves look effortless.
Oh, buddy.
When this stadium was built over 65 years ago, it was constructed as a wide-open dome without serious thought given to supporting heavy equipment. They needed to add these brackets in order to hang this heavy scoreboard. Haley's going to take a close look at these for any corrosion or loose connection points.
Haley, you almost make it look like you've been doing this before.
1 day or 2 a year, but only 1 day or 2 a year. I can do a few things.
We got our secret weapon out there.
Thankfully, they look solid.
There you go. Made it look easy.
Time for Haley to get her feet back on a solid surface.
I think we just needed some fresh legs out there.
Yeah, you do enough, Dad.
Now Matt's rigging things up for me to go out. He worked as a stadium rigger for 20 years. Then COVID hit and concerts got canceled. And he's been with us ever since.
Had to pivot, and this is perfect. Rest is history. Here we are.
I'm going to lower down to take a look underneath the superstructure to ensure everything looks solid. My turn. When I started doing rope access work over 20 years ago, being out in space like this without anything between me and the surface below took some getting used to.
It gives you a feeling of alone and naked, but I don't get that anymore. I mean, I plug in and I suspend, and it's like putting on my shoes in the morning.
I actually tell people all the time, I'm actually more coordinated on rope than I am on the horizontal stuff. This would never pass the white glove inspection.
It's a bit dusty under here, but all the connections look good. This passes inspection. Nothing to worry about. Another job off the books.
This house is clear.
We're nearly done up here, but we've got a bit of extra time, so Matt's going to jump out.
All right, Matt, your turn.
It's always good to get another set of eyes on things. And he's never hung on ropes over ice before, so here's one for the bucket list.
All right, Matt, now when you get there, take a good look under there. You're looking good, Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
Right on. Stay focused.
All right.
You've got this.
That's good. Good stuff. Awesome.
All right, come on up. You got this, Matt. Nice work. Living the dream. Roll Tide. Nice. You got it. You did it. Rock and roll. Mind the gap now. Nice work, Matt.
Cool. Smooth, bruh.
All right, let's go catch a Zamboni. Before heading down, we take a brief moment to enjoy the view.
It's such a cool vantage point. I mean, the only thing I can imagine it equals to is what birds envision and think. It's like, look at all those people down there and we're up here. It's pretty cool.
Now we just have to get our gear and ourselves off this platform and head back to the ice, 112 feet below. I love working with these guys. They're truly my road family.
It is definitely a family. Been proud to be part of it, to be honest.
Absolutely.
When you leave, it's high five, see you soon.
Let's roll out, fam.
They're testing out the scoreboard, making sure everything's ready for game day.
Game on.
Yeah, they're up there testing now.
And now, I get to catch a ride on a Zamboni.
Oh, Zamboni.
Full speed ahead!
Yeehaw!
There's a first time for everything.
This ice is nice. Super smooth. What's the score anyway?
Being on that Zamboni, that was a treat.
From the crown of the dome all the way down to ice level, this stadium looks good, ready for anything.
That was money. That was a little painful, though.
This building's been here since 1955, and, I hope to see it here another 100 years. Comes near and dear to the heart.
Let's roll, guys. Later, Charlotte. Go Checkers.